to another edition of the D&D Morning Show. We've got another episode coming at ya.
That sounded scripted.
It is. It's scripted in my head.
It is.
It is.
Very professional.
That's what I am.
You're very
Professional.
Fun facts this morning.
Well, yours is really plain and simple. His fun fact is plain.
What?
Drew is obsessed with eating pears. He could eat them every day, all day. Smoothies, just a pear, cereal, all kinds of different ways he could eat pears.
Like with the ginger, you put those two together? If you missed the last show, we talked about how I love ginger. And
A lot.
All the benefits of ginger, but pears as well. I love pears. And any kind of pear. Red pear. They have all kinds of different names for pears. I don't know all the names.
Bartlett.
But, ooh, good one.
Anjou.
Ooh, nice. I was thinking about
The
that one.
French.
I didn't know how to pronounce it. Is that a French name?
Anjou is French.
What does it mean?
Pear.
Pear?
No. Actually, poire is a pear in French.
What does the other name say?
It's the name of the pear. Bartlett pear. Anjou pear.
How would I say it?
Probably Anjou or something. I don't know. How would you English people say it?
I would have to read it.
Anjou.
Asian pears. I love it.
He didn't even answer.
I'm like, you guys have seen Forrest Gump? Like the shrimp,
Oh,
popcorn shrimp, sauteed shrimp,
garlic shrimp,
coconut
shrimp, shrimp stir fry,
All right,
shrimp and
that's
beans.
enough. I think that's enough.
Oh, I think that's about it. My fun fact.
Your fun fact.
So this one.
I'm gonna tell your fun fact.
Darn it!
Darn it. So Dorothy has one speed. One speed, that's
I
it.
try to speed up, it doesn't work.
I'm not done explaining.
Oh.
So if we're late for anything, it seems like the speed actually slows down if that's possible. But since it's one speed, you can't really tell. It's like one speed. But if you're in a hurry, that one speed seems slower. Yeah. And if you're, I don't know what the opposite was. But anyways, so Dorothy we were late. I was late for something. I had to go. I was like, can you hurry up, please? And she's like, oh yeah, Mom, I am. And I'm like, no, could you hurry up, please? She's like, oh, I am. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, you're like a turtle and a snail combined.
And then I was like, you need to come up with a name for a turtle and a snail combined together. And what did you come up with?
A snurtle.
So now Drew calls me a snurtle.
What an awesome name. A snurtle.
Well, actually, he dropped me off and then because we each had appointments kind of same time. So he dropped me off and then I said, you think of that name and you let me know what you come up with when you pick me up. And he's driving halfway away and then he rolls down the window and he's like, Snurtle! Out the window!
I did. That was cool. It's a great name. I can't wait. Couldn't wait to tell her.
Rolls down the window, yells it out.
You're a snurtle.
You're a snurtle!
All right, those are some fun facts. Hope you enjoyed. What do we have next?
We're going to talk about today eating out because it is reality. You know, it's not very realistic to say, I'm never eating out again. So we're just going to talk about ways how you can eat out and still stay on track or do your best to make healthier options, healthier choices.
Yeah, you want to start?
I got 3 in mind.
I
Oh boy.
bet you do.
Now that I say I've got 3 in mind, I have to remember them. So one of the things that I do in restaurants is I find too they give huge portions, especially when it comes to things like noodles and rice. And so whenever I order a dish like a rice bowl or a noodle bowl, I always ask them if I can have half the rice and double the veggies. And that way it helps. It helps. You get they're usually, I've never had a problem. People like at the restaurants are usually like the waiters, yeah, sure. And then it's a done deal.
Unless they forget. You know, the thing is many times it's the unhealthy, let's say carb, for example. Of course, most of you know we're not anti-carb people, but like it's the carb, it's like those like white noodles, for example, or it's white rice. And so that would be thinking about trying to change that, asking if they have brown rice, or saying, can I put in whole grain rice or wild rice instead? That'd be a good option. But just understand that, like, you have a big baked potato there, that's not the carb you're looking for. It's not slow digesting. It's not going to help you out nutrition wise. So I'll try to make that adjustment first.
Another thing that I do is trying to order a salad, some leafy greens. But the thing that's kind of discouraging sometimes is they like soak your salad in a dressing, and it's like, really?
Marinated?
Your lettuce is not crispy because there's so much sauce on it. But one thing that I started doing is asking for the dressing on the side, and getting like a vinaigrette dressing always helps too. And then you can put a little salad on the fork and just a little touch in your little dressing, and that helps too.
Yeah.
Keep it real.
Keep it real.
Real food.
That's a good one. I don't know if this is cutting into your tips, but like ordering vegetables, that's a big one, because many times we have like a little portion, or the only vegetable we have is that garnish on the side.
The parsley. It's my veggie.
Like this little wilted piece of parsley. Like, what is that? Where's my vegetables? So look to order vegetables when you're going out.
Yeah, a lot of times they ask for double. Double veggies.
That's something.
They don't usually charge either.
No. Is
for
that one of
double
your
veggies.
tips?
Well, it's kind of one of my tips of before. Do you want to hear my third one, or do you have more to say?
No, just if that's not one of your tips, I just want to say that that's something that you guys can do. So, for example, when we go out, we rarely eat meat or order meat. So we'll say, or if it's a tofu dish, we say no tofu, but can we have extra veggies? Or if it's meat, if there's meat, like whatever, shrimp, chicken, beef, I say, can we get that without the meat? And they usually get a funny look. They'll say, would you like, can we get that without beef? Like, oh, would you like chicken? No, we don't want chicken. Would you like that with tofu? No, we don't want tofu.
How about shrimp? No.
No shrimp either. So just ask. That usually gets it out of the way at the beginning. Dorothy's pretty good at that. Saying, can I get that with no meat but extra veggies? And they usually say, well, everyone said, yeah, sure.
We've never had anybody have a problem with that, so that's good. My last tip is to stay away from deep fried things. A lot of times we do see nice salads on the menus, and then they add like a breaded or deep fried chicken on top. So try your best to do everything grilled, not deep fried.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
And I'm drawing a blank here. I have another one for us. Oh, splitting meals. Like a lot of times when Dorothy and I go out, we talked about this in the past, but we have an appetizer, and then we have when we share a meal. And like sometimes, because we eat so often, our meals are small because there's always food in our system. And I think that many times as a society, we're not used to having small meals. So we're starving. We order this big meal we haven't ate all day, or maybe you had at 8 or 10 o'clock, and then in the evening it's 6 o'clock and you're starving, so you have a whole meal. But those of us that eat more frequently, that's what we train you guys to do, so you can understand how to increase your metabolism, burn body fat all day. So by having, we look at these big portion sizes and we're like, who would eat that whole thing?
That's huge!
So that's what we do. We might order a small appetizer that's not deep fried, a clean appetizer, and then we have one meal, one dish. We ask for an extra plate, and they give us an extra plate, and we split it, and it's more than enough food.
Yeah, we've never walked away being like, oh man, I need more food.
Yeah.
And we always go in, with the attitude, if it isn't enough, if we're still hungry after, we'll order something else. But we've never had to do that.
Yeah, you can order something else. And then, of course, like even if it's the evening, we talk about having a snack before bedtime. And so we're going to eat again.
Yeah.
So this isn't a meal that we haven't had for hours, no food for hours. And then it's not going to be our last meal that evening. So if we understand that, it's going to save you a whole lot more money while you go out. That's a big one. Like, how do you go out and order healthy meals and be able to afford it? Well, you don't have to have the biggest dish possible. It's all deep fried and usually unhealthy.
Is that all you have to say about that? That wasn't a very good first comp, but that's all I have to say about that.
Are you done with that?
Okay.
Dorothy gets a little
one track mind. don't know.
So those are some tips to help you eat out, like understand how to eat out, I think, because it's part of our lifestyle. Like, it's a social thing, and there's a lot of different things that you can do to stay healthy, stay on track. Like alcohol is one of them.
To stay away from, you mean?
Yeah, to stay away from. So avoiding alcohol to stay on track. Like, for example, when you go out with friends, you know, there's nothing wrong with having a drink, but there's a big difference between having 6 and 1 before dinner, or not having one, just saying I'll have water. Like anytime when I used to start to order water, I always thought like I was being judged for like maybe being cheap, or like maybe they're like, oh, maybe they can't afford a drink. Like even if it's a Coke or an alcoholic beverage, like I still want water. That's what I drink with my food.
Yeah.
So I drink with my food at home. So if I go to a restaurant, it's not going to be any different. And then that goes back to the other affordability, I suppose, when you're eating out, because you know those drinks add up. It's $5 or $6 for a drink, and if you have 2, that's 12. If you add that, if we both have 2, that's 24. You know, and that's just on drinks alone. Then your meal. So you go out to eat, and you spend $100 every time you go out to eat, and we spend 12 or 15 maybe if it's and that's at a restaurant. So those are some tips to help you guys out.
One thing that I was thinking when you said about the social part of eating out, one thing you can do if you want to reduce the amount of times that you're eating out is invite people over and cook meals, because then you get to choose exactly what's going on the plate, and you're still getting that social environment as well.
Great tip.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's fun having people over and cooking new meals.
Yeah, especially if you get to experiment and try new things, and your friends are open to different kinds of foods. Like we have lots of fun with our friends just going out, and like they say, oh, I have this new recipe, come over and try it. And we do the same.
It's awesome. Yeah.
So do we have time for a fitness question, recipe, and quote?
Of course, there's always time.
All right, what we got?
So Debbie asked a good question in the group, and it was, if you are short on time, is it better to do less exercises, so reduce your exercises, take some out, or is it better to reduce your reps?
So reps or sets? Is that what the question is?
Yeah, so for example, if I had 3 different sets of exercises, would I cut 1 set out and only do 2 sets, or would I just do all 3 sets and reduce the amount of reps?
Okay, so it's important to understand, like when we do reps 12 to 15 reps. So when you're looking to burn body fat, tone up, you want to increase the number of reps. So in this case, we would do more reps and less sets. All right, you with me on that one?
Okay.
So more reps, so stay within the 12 to 15 reps, don't cut out an extra set. What you can do is take less breaks. That's a big one. That's important, to take less breaks in between your or in between your exercises. So if we usually have 3 exercises per set. So let's say push up, sit up, squat. So instead of doing a push up and taking 10, 20, 30 seconds to recover, you go right to the next one. And then if let's say you're doing 2 sets, instead of taking 30 seconds or 2 minutes in between, then you just match them up. Just go without a break. And you know it's gonna be more challenging. It's gonna get your heart rate up, and that's gonna get you more bang for your buck within that limited amount of time.
I actually started doing this recently, no breaks, and I couldn't believe the amount of time I was saving. So I've been working out in the morning for quite some time now, and on my work days, I find, like when I go teaching on those days, I find it's a little bit harder because I have a little less amount of time. So that's what I started doing, and I was like, wow, this is actually working. I am saving time, but no breaks. So I'm huffing and puffing away, but man, you get a good workout in by not doing that too.
Yeah, that's good.
Powering through.
Yeah, and then like I said, that gets your cardio going as well. So you're not spending 30 minutes doing cardio, because you're getting your cardiovascular, your heart and lungs working in the same way as you would, in your workouts, instead of taking another half hour over there in a different section. Just
remember to breathe, because you get going. I know it's happened to me sometimes. You get going hard and you forget to breathe, and you stand up, you're like, woo! Get a little lightheaded. So I always have to tell myself to breathe while I'm doing the exercises. Yeah.
Just remember to keep your form. Keep your form, always keep your form the same. You can do reps quicker, if possible, depending on the exercise. But everyone's different too. Like if we're just starting out, you don't want to try to cut anything away. You know what I mean? Get your full reps in, get your whole break time in. But for those that are a bit more advanced and have time, or don't have that amount of time, get your reps and get your exercises in, and then move forward. If we only have 10 minutes for a workout, you can still get a great workout in. Just go through.
Drew knows.
I like short, intense
Drew
workouts.
does really short workouts. I'm like, you worked out for 5 minutes. I was at the gym for 40 minutes.
It's not 5 minutes.
It seems like 5 minutes.
So you can get a great workout in if you bump up your intensity, but it's important.
Sorry. I just had a little picture in my head of if we went to the gym together, you'd be done your workout, I'd just be getting my shoes off. Alright, I'm ready to work out. I just get my shoes on, Drew's done.
Throw this hanger jacket up. You got a recipe for us today?
I sure do.
What you got?
This recipe has been around for a long time, actually.
Favorite.
It's a favorite, yes. It's Complete Truth banana chocolate muffins. So it is excellent. So we use the Complete Truth protein instead of the flour, and it's fantastic. And then you add some flax seeds, some oat bran, just your regular baking needs like baking powder, salt. What's the other one? Baking soda. Help it rise up. For a sweetener, you can use honey, maple syrup. Then you got some applesauce, some almond milk. What else do we got in there? Some vanilla and bananas. So what I like to do is throw all of the ingredients into the blender. You whip it all up in the blender, and then you just pour it into your muffin cups. Bake away, and voila!
Do you put the oven on?
350.
And then how long will those take?
Usually about 20 minutes. 20 minutes.
And then so your prep time is 15 minutes?
Oh, quick, yeah. Less. 10 minutes? 10 minutes, because all I do is throw it into the blender. Bananas. Complete Truth. You wouldn't throw your chocolate chips in the blender. You have to put those in after and stir them around. But
so then you put everything in the blender and you let it whip up.
You whip it up.
So then after it's done, you take the chocolate chips and you dump them in the blender.
Yep.
Mix it around. Could you hit the pulse button just to?
Well, you could, but then your chocolate chip's gonna get chunked up a little.
Right.
Yeah.
So just mix it around, then you pour it in the cups.
Pour it in the spoons. In the oven.
So about 20 minutes of prep time.
Not even. 5-10 minutes.
5 minutes prep time and 20 minutes in the oven.
Yeah.
So within 30 minutes, you got your own muffins.
A delicious snack.
All right, you have a quote that you can end off for us?
This actually came from our last show. I kind of took the words from our last show and made a little quote out of it.
What you got for us?
So I've got, think of reasons why you should instead of making excuses why you shouldn't. That came from my little story of the last show.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Let's wrap it up then.
Okay, we're out of here.
Thanks for joining us on another D&D Morning Show.
We'll catch you next time.
See you
Thanks
guys.
for tuning in.